Okay. And so if you want to review this after we're done, or you have other employees that you want to watch this presentation, you can do so right up here. This will be your name, whoever's logged into MRS, and under support. And you'll see training videos over here. So you can go in there, and there's a few of the other ones that I've done in the past, but this one's going to deal with accepting a case, making sure some coverage areas are set up correctly, and also creating zones so that you can have your agents utilize the mobile apps that we have, or log in and receive address assignments, out in the field. So with all that said, I'm gonna get started here. And so let's just go ahead and I'm going to get on the dashboard here. We're logged in. We're at the home screen, or the dashboard. This company, this demo company I'm in right now, happens to have a few customized reports on their dashboard, and those can be created right here under My Reports. And you can go in there and select different options and actually create a report and place it on your dashboard. Good example of that would be if you wanted to come in here and create a case tags report for a particular item, and I could come in here and say I wanted to create a report for vehicles that are okay to be released to the auction. In this case, I don't have any that are set, but I'll show you how that works. And I'm going to go ahead and save it as a report. Okay, to release. And I'm going to say add it to my dashboard, and I'm going to go ahead and save. Now if I go back here to my home screen, I'm going to see that report. Of course, there's going to be no data in it yet, and I'm going to show you once we get into the case itself how that actually works and how that's going to populate. So if there's particular items you're interested in, you can create really as many reports as you want. So, but let's get into coverage areas right off the bat. And I'm going to go over here, coverage areas and zones. And we can see that this particular company I'm logged in as looks like they cover the San Diego, California area. I have a drawn coverage area right there. Pretty easy to do that. We highly recommend that when you create coverage areas that you draw your coverage area, either with a circle or an actual physical draw, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Click on the little plus sign. Again, I'm going to show you that again. You go Settings, Coverage Areas, and that's going to take you right here, and you're going to see your locations you've created for your company right here. There's multiple locations. You would see, say, San Diego and maybe Los Angeles or whatever it might be. Come in here, click the plus sign. That's going to show you your current coverage area, and in this case I'm going to draw the Los Angeles area because I also cover that area. So I'm going to say LA Metro, and I'm going to say draw, or I could do a radius. But in this case, because of the way Los Angeles is configured, I want to go ahead and draw it. Click on draw. Come right up here with your mouse, and you can even zoom in a little bit. Now if you need to move it around, you can see I've already clicked on this draw right here, but I see my little plus sign on my mouse, but I can still hold my mouse down and drag it around a little bit to kind of center it a little bit better for where I'm going to start drawing. And I'm going to come in here and just hit one time. I'm going to go up and around Burbank, come all the ways over to here, come down here by Pomona, and I'm going to stop right over here. And it's okay to go into the water. That's not going to hurt anything, but you want to make sure you wouldn't want to do this. If you can see that if I did this, I'm going to miss the beach area over by Huntington Beach and Newport Beach. So any addresses that you would normally want to receive in that area, because your drawing doesn't cover it, you're not going to get an order that happens to have an address right there. So you want to make sure you're really careful on where you draw and just make sure it covers the whole area. and then you want to get back to where you started. Now, one of the things that's really, really important is you do not want to overlap zones or overlap coverage areas. So in our system, we only will let you draw one drawing at a time for a particular coverage area. So LA Metro, I can only create one drawing for this. If I need to, you know, fix this and maybe I need to drag this out because I want to cover Chino, I can go ahead and start dragging it and stuff. But you want to make sure you get it, just get it close at first, and then you can come in here and start, you know, pulling it apart and you know, increasing it. Maybe you want to zoom in a little bit and make sure that you've got everything. You know, maybe you don't want to work on that side of Interstate 210. Come down here a little bit, but once you start dragging it, you're going to notice you got other little options that it's going to let you, you know, keep creating it. So very, very important. Don't overlap coverage areas and only create one of these on a particular coverage area. So once you've got this created, you can go down to the bottom after you've named it. And one other thing you want to make sure that you do here is, let me go ahead and scroll back up here. And I think I've got rid of my coverage area here because I clicked outside of it. Let me get back in there. It should still have it. So that's a good example of what not to do, is click outside this little circle and it's going to make you restart over, but we'll just do it really quick. Drawn. And there we go. We've got it drawn again. So I'm going to go back down to the very bottom down here, and I'm going to hit Save Changes. But what I was going to show you was that you want to make sure that you don't unselect this. If you change this to exclude right here, this means that you're going to exclude all of this area from your coverage area. So that means anything that gets sent in this area, you won't cover. So you always want to make sure that if you're doing an include, you keep this green like this. So, and if you wanted to create an exclude area, and a good example of that would be maybe a military base, you could go in here and create a new coverage area that would exclude a certain area like a reservation or a military base or something. So we're going to leave it like this. I'm going to hit Save Changes. And now I have LA Metro on my coverage area too, and you can see it on the map. So now any addresses or any accounts that get sent to you, you're going to be able to receive those. So that is how the coverage areas are created. Very important though, don't draw more than one for any one of these coverage areas. You can come in if you need to draw, say, San Bernardino and all of these other ones. You could come in there and just create another one for those ones, but don't draw anymore. Now, once you've got this done, if you are going to have agents utilizing the mobile app where they can have our mobile app and log in and receive their assignments via the iOS, Android, or the Windows app, you would want to come in here and create zones. Now, if you just simply want to give access to your agents and all of your agents get all of the accounts or all of the addresses, it's pretty simple. You would just come in here and your coverage area would just be, you create a zone around the whole area of the coverage, and you know, any addresses that come into your company that you've accepted will automatically go to that guy. So in this case, I actually created two. So I have one over here in East County, and I have one in San Diego Metro right here. So I can have as many zones as I want, but the zones work exactly the same way. So if you come in here, you can see that I have a coverage area here, but I also have a coverage area right here. So if I need to create a brand new zone, I'm just going to call this the LA zone. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and LA zone, I'm going to just draw it, and I'm going to make it just easy, and I'm going to say I'm going to draw it right here. I'm just going to make sure I include all of this, and I can go outside with the zones. I don't have to necessarily be inside that area. It doesn't have to be perfect if you don't want it to be. as long as it's within that coverage area, it's going to go ahead and assign the drivers correctly. So that's it, and then I just go down here and I say save changes and go back into my zones, and now I have a zone up here for Los Angeles, I have a zone for San Diego Metro, and I have a zone. So what this is going to do is all the addresses in our system that come in are going to automatically get assigned to those drivers. So now that you have a zone created, you have a coverage area created, let's say you want to have a field agent log into the system and receive his assignments. So if we come in here, and I'm going to go to settings, I'm going to go to employees, and you can have as many employees use the system as you want. There's no cost for it for limited users. You can come in here and I say I got 2 employees. Let me go ahead and click on this field agent limited right here. And I can see that this field agent doesn't have any zones attached to them at all right now. So, and if you'd see any zones, you would see them on the map, but you would also see them down here right below this map. So let's just take this and let's go ahead and create a zone or add a zone to this guy. And I'm going to select plus, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, okay, well, let's look at East County zone. And right now, you don't really know how many addresses or how many cases you have in East County, but it's going to tell you in a second. So as soon as I selected East County, it showed me that zone on the map, but it also said I have 2 valid addresses within 2 cases that I'm going to assign to this field agent. And it even tells me that both of those happen to be involuntary repossessions. So if I want to add this agent to East County, I can go hit right here, assign, and any future accounts for involuntaries and voluntaries are going to automatically be assigned to this guy. If I come down here, I can now see East County, auto assigned 2 addresses, manually assigned no addresses. This is a drawn zone, and that's it. Works really well. Now let's go here, let's go ahead and create one more. Let's go here to, let's just look how many addresses are in the LA zone. This one has 26 valid addresses within 24 cases assigned to this field agent. I'm going to go ahead and say assign. And now you can see this guy is assigned to both of these. So you don't have to go into each one of those accounts and assign the addresses or the cases to your agents. The system's going to do it automatically. Now, from now on, any addresses that are within this zone and within this zone are going to automatically be assigned to the driver. So let's go here, and you're going to look at your MRS, and you're going to start seeing these cases come in. So right now I can see I got 1 hold or close up here, and I also have 1 new assignment. I have 65 cases that are assigned to me as a caseworker, and I'll explain that in a minute, but let's go ahead and go to this new assignment right here. And here's the assignment. Came in from Demo Bank and Trust, and it's at an address in El Cajon, California. I happen to know where that's at. That's in East County. So what should happen is, see, prior to accepting new accounts, you need to accept the client's pending holds and closes. So good example, if this client right here, Demo Bank and Trust, has a hold or a close, the system won't allow you to accept a new account. Now, this is only going to affect this client. So if you've got 5 banks that are sending you work through MRS, we're not going to lock down your whole system for 1 bank. It has to be an assignment that is coming from that bank. Some of the other systems out there will lock down your whole account. We're not going to do that. We're going to go in here. We're going to accept this close, accept it. I can fill in information if I need to. I'm not going to in this case. And now I should be able to go in here and accept that, or accept the new account that just came in. Okay, so here we are. We have the new case here. Happens to be on Main Street in El Cajon. We have geo coordinates. Every address in our system should be geocoded. You should always see this information right here. If you don't, contact support and we can take a look at it, but you should have this always. And this is how we're mapping and doing everything else within the system. So I can either accept it, I can decline it, or I can make a request. The make a request is kind of nice because maybe the client sent you this and you will go there, but it happens to be outside your normal coverage area. Maybe you need extra fees for whatever reason. If it's at the police impound, you can go ahead and send them a request, and they'll receive it on the client side, and they can approve or deny it or reassign the case. But that's what you can do there. But let's just go ahead and accept this. So right now we don't have any nobody attached to it yet because you haven't accepted it. Let's go ahead and accept. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. This is demo employee. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave it as the demo employee. There will be a change here. For right now, you can only assign one employee in your office, but we're going to change this to a multiple select so the system will allow you to have as many people as you want. So let's go ahead and accept it. And now I can see that this employee in my repo company is assigned to this under here's my cases. But what also happened here behind the scenes is if I go to the Assign tab, I can see that it assigned this field agent right here to this particular address. So when this guy logs in, he's going to automatically see this information right here. Okay, and let's go ahead and go back here over to the dashboard for a second because I want to show you one other thing you want to look for under this dashboard. Right here you're going to see a little pencil, and you can come in here and customize your dashboard. So right now I have these 3 items that appear on my dashboard. If I want to have, say, maybe I want to have the condition report module on my dashboard, and I also want the debtor module on my dashboard, I can add those on there too. Hit Save Changes, and now if I scroll down, I can see that I got the condition report module and the debtor module on here too. So you guys can do that. You guys can customize as many as you want. You can also have as many employees in the system as you want too. So if you want to add all your caseworkers or office people or field agents or whoever it might be, you can do so. So now we've accepted this account. And earlier I was telling you about the case tags. So in this case, let's go ahead and say I'm going to go ahead and move this account. It's okay to be released to the auction. Okay to be released. You can create as many of those as you want under case tags. But I just saved one of those right here. Now if I go back to this home screen, you're going to see that account automatically populates in this report that I built earlier. So this is a real-time report that every time you hit your home screen or log back in or whatever it might be, you can go in there and see whatever it is you saved. If you saved a report to show you everything that was repoed yesterday or everything that's repoed today, you can see it all right in there. You can click on it, takes you right back to that case. The other thing you can do is if you have a credit card on file with MRS, you can buy license plate data. So if you want to click on the buy plate, you can buy the license plate right here, or you could even go back over here to the dashboard and you could type in any VIN number and buy a license plate. You could even buy, in some cases yesterday, I seen an Iowa plate that got ran and it even came back with lien holder and debtor information too. So kind of nice if you want to run something depending on the state you're in. The only 2 states we don't have is Pennsylvania and New York. And let me look real quick here, and I'm just going to see if anybody has any questions yet. Jamie, looks like Jamie has a question. Let's see if we can hear Jamie. Are you there, Jamie?
Yes.
Did you have a question?
I think it got answered in the forum. I was talking about the use of ClearPlan in conjunction with the mapping system.
Uh-huh, yep.
Would it be best just to set the zone up as a whole for the users? That way, and just let ClearPlan kind of dissect it after that?
Yeah, so for the ClearPlan deal, it's not even going to matter. You won't even need zones or anything. As soon as you accept your accounts in ClearPlan or in MRS, it's going to push it to ClearPlan if you set it up. So I think now is probably a pretty good time we can just go into the ClearPlan deal. So we do offer ClearPlan integration for free to you guys. So if you're receiving accounts in MRS, we're not going to charge you anything. It's still free. and all you've got to do is go in here to entities, and then down here to vendors, and you just type in ClearPlan in this search. It'll populate right here, and you just click the little add. Now, I've already added it here, so once you've added ClearPlan to your company profile, you can come in here and click on Activate. Once it's activated, the system will, ClearPlan will notify you. I think it usually takes them a couple hours to get it activated, and then automatically you'll see those accounts start filtering back. So once they've activated it, you'll come back here, turn on the sync right here. It'll tell you how many addresses it's going to sync, and then from that point on, everything that's in your MRS, doesn't matter if it's in zones or whatever it is, it's automatically going to go to ClearPlan. So pretty simple.
Hey, Jeff, can I just add, this is Bill, you do have to set up a coverage area, but you don't have to set up the zones, but you have to set up a coverage area in order for the client to be able to assign you work. So Jamie, you would have to set up a coverage area in MRS, and then ClearPlan can, to get the accounts, and then ClearPlan can put them on the map.
Yep, exactly. So you want to make sure you keep your ClearPlan, or you keep your coverage area. So as long as you're getting accounts in the system, any accounts that you get are going to go to ClearPlan if you've turned on this feature. The zones doesn't have anything to do with it. The only other thing you might want to do within ClearPlan is they have the ability to add an agent ID or an employee ID from MRS, and that's this ID number right here. And you would add that under your ClearPlan profile for your employees, and if they add updates within ClearPlan and you've added this number, those updates will come back into MRS automatically. So they'll just follow back into the MRS system to that proper case. So pretty cool. But let's go back over to that account real quick here, and let me see if I can find it here real quick. So we have this case. Now you want to send an update to your client. So because I've added the updates module to my dashboard, I can just click right here on my dashboard and do it. Now, if you haven't added that yet, you can come in here to the updates tab and you can add it right there. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit the little plus sign, and I'm actually going to select this address and no show. Whoops. Vehicle was a no-show. I'm not going to type anything else. I'm going to make it visible to the client right here, and I'm going to save it public just to make sure that the client can see it. Pretty simple. Not too much to do there. Now, because I have this address, and let me just take a look at some settings under my agent. I'm going to see if I can log in as this agent real quick here. So I went under Settings, Employees, pulled up that employee I want, and now I'm clicking on Manage Logins and Passwords. So I have employee information, Manage Logins and Passwords, and Routes and Permissions. So limited demo, and I think I remember the password. We'll check on that in a minute if I can get logged in. I've added him as a limited field agent right here. This is also if you had other employees, you can assign them as many permissions as you want. Active status right here, time zone, and this is important right here, is the address in here. So let me go down here and just click back over here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to log into my mobile app on this particular user right here. So I've got, I'm on a desktop computer. It's a Windows 10 computer, and it won't function 100% because I don't have a GPS antenna loaded on this computer. But if you download our Windows app and you have a GPS antenna, your agents, every time he drives past an assignment, an account, or an address, it's going to automatically update that account. So let's go ahead and click on the My Mobile Agent right here. And I need to see who I'm logged in as here. So I'm going to log out as this person, and it's going to probably throw me an error as soon as I try to log back in. But let's see, go back here to login, to demo. Oops. Okay, I'm going to have to reset this password here real quick. Maybe Bill, can you do that for me? Just reset the password for this particular agent on the limited company, and I'll just come back to this here in just a minute.
Okay.
And just Skype it over to me. Well, let's go back into the case real quick here, and we'll just go over a couple more things in the case while Bill is doing that. So let me just go here. I'm going to pull back that George Clooney again. And so now you've got an update on the account, and now you want to recover the account. So prior to recovery, and while you're setting up your company and all of the information within your company, one of those permanent records, or one of those permanent data that you want to get into the system is your auctions, or the locations that you're going to maybe drop a vehicle off of. Or your police departments. So if you needed to add a police department, you would want to make sure you do that right here. And I suggest, prior to starting to mark a bunch of your vehicles repossessed, you want to make sure you just go in there and add all of your police departments in your area. So to add a police department, go in there. You just start searching for whatever the police is, the police name. It's going to look under the city, or it's going to look under everything when you start typing. So in this case, it found all of these in Tucson, Arizona. I could just click on add, all the ones that I want in there. So if you typed in a city, it would show you the sheriff and the police and everybody else. So, but you definitely want to get all of this set up prior to marking accounts repossessed. Otherwise, you're going to be going back and forth. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click up here on the little gear. This is a bunch of shortcuts for doing different things. A lot of the things right in here, this is a shortcut for that. So let's go ahead and click on change it to repossessed. Here's the vehicle information. Damage, no damage on it. Do you have keys? Yes. License plate, if you happen to have it. Mileage on the vehicle. Is it drivable? Yes. Is there a color? And if you've already created a condition report in this system, it would show it to you right here, but in this case, nobody's created one. If your field agent's already created it and you're marking it repossessed, they could potentially do that too from their side of the system. And let's just go ahead and scroll down. These are personal property. Yes. The date it recovered. Let's just go ahead for ease. Let's just say now. But you can, put whatever date and time you want right in there. You can also say which employee, if you want, actually repossessed it. This is where your police departments are right here. So let's just go ahead and say San Diego County Sheriff's Department with the badge number. And some of this stuff right here is optional. If you don't want to put this in, you don't have to. But if you happen to have a storage space, if you're a larger company, you can put a storage space on your lot. Disposition of collateral, it's currently stored. If you've dropped it directly off of the auction, you could even say it's released or delivered right there too. And this is also your current storage location, and it's going to give you a bunch of different options for the different entities that are attached to this particular account. So good example of this is if you took this, let's just say this account was for TitleMax, and you took this account directly to a TitleMax facility, TitleMax storage location, TitleMax would add a storage location in their system, and you would see that right in here. So you wouldn't want to add, say, a TitleMax location under your profile. You would want to make sure that that TitleMax location is actually added under their profile. And if they have any questions, or if they tell you that you have to add that, just direct them back to MRS support, and we'll help them with that to make sure that they get it added correctly on their site. Because I know with those guys, they have multiple offices that share the same storage locations in some of the bigger cities, so that may be an issue, you know, going forward with them. So, but just direct them to us, and we'll help them with that. I'm going to leave this right here. Personal property. If you have to have a space number for the personal property, you know, maybe if it contains 2 bags, where it's currently stored at, and then you can start adding, you know, the different items that are within the vehicle itself. Once you type an item in here, it's going to stay in here forever. So you don't have to, the system will save it if you ever needed to do a search for, you need to find all the accounts under or under My Reports. You wanted to find everything that contained a gun, you could actually go in there and see all of your accounts that contained a gun or a diamond ring or whatever it might be. Maybe they left $1 million in their car in cash. So not that that ever happens, but go ahead and hit Save Changes once you're done. Looks like it's going to make me correct something because I didn't select it right here, recovery location. I need to select where I picked it up at. Any accounts in the system are going to be in this drop-down menu. If you need to add a new one, you could just select it right there. Let me go back down here again and try this again. And it's now saved. So what happened here is you have your case and your client has their case. So you just triggered something to happen on the client's case too. So while yours is now marked as repossessed, and you can see the status of it right here as repossessed, you could, let me see here, repossessed, stored for 1 day. TitleMax, or whoever the client is going to have to acknowledge that. So they're going to see that come into a particular area of their system under acknowledgement for that particular account, and they're going to have to actually click on something on their side of the system that says acknowledge repossession right here. Acknowledge client recovery needs acknowledgement. So that's how we know everybody's kind of doing their part. Just to throw it into their repossessed accounts, they may not get alerted that they had it or might miss it. So they would go into a particular area on their side and hit the acknowledge recovery. So everything kind of works together. The other thing is if you needed to, you know, create a condition report, you can go in there and, you know, use this little drop down in here again, and you can create your condition report. You would most likely select MRS standard condition report. Let's go ahead and just start selecting a few of these items in here. Good, transmission's poor, engine's poor, and then right here, right here, here. Okay, then you can select the different options. I don't really need to do that. If you have any additional comments you need to make on the condition report, you can do that. And here you have a picture of a vehicle. So in this case, there happens to be a large dent on the hood of this car, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag this dent right here to the wherever the damage might be. But what would be better than just having this right here would actually be able to have an actual picture of the vehicle itself. So in case you have uploaded real pictures of your vehicle, you can hit this little gear and you could actually put your real vehicle right here and then mark the damage on the real vehicle. And I'll show you here in a minute what it actually looks like when you complete it. So, but yeah, as soon as you you know, mark all of the damage on here, you know, if it happens to be a little bit of rust down here, whatever it might be, depending on the color of the vehicle, you can even change the color of the information right here to make it so that they can see it a little bit better on the color of the vehicle. And you can do that for both sides of the vehicle. So here you go, you got the front side and the back side. Once you're done doing this, you would go ahead and hit create condition report. Let's see if it filled out everything. And if I scroll down here to the bottom, I now see the condition report down here. If I wanted to print a copy of this condition report, MRS standard condition report, here it is, and there it is right there. If you had like an iPad or a touchscreen type device, you can come in here and actually sign the condition report, and you could even save it as a attachment on your case. So if the debtor came in and redeemed this vehicle, you could have an iPad, say, at the front counter, and you could even tell the debtor to sign right here. They can use their finger and sign it. So works pretty good. Let me just take a peek real quick here. Any questions? All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to get this password real quick here. But see, Bill sent that over to me for the mobile app. So let me go ahead and type this in real quick. There we go. Now, normally if I was on a device that had a GPS antenna on it, it would direct me, center me right into that location. You would also see these items over here. This would also center you if you have a GPS location or a GPS device on your laptop or whatever it might be. But I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so I can see where my addresses are. And I can see that I have, looks like I got a couple addresses that are assigned to me. And that's all I did. I mean, I literally just logged into this device through our mobile app right here. And I see that I have 2 addresses here in East County because I'm attached to that zone. And as a field agent, I don't have to do anything else. You can create one big zone for your whole company, and everything that comes in for whatever client that is that's sending you assignments within the MRS system are going to pre-populate or automatically populate. If this account closes in the system, this icon is just simply going to disappear. These are also just the generic icons that we've added to the system. So let's just take a look at this account real quick here. I'm going to click on that icon, and I'm going to look at the details of it. And I'm going to see that it's an involuntary repossession. I'm going to pop back over to the system over here for this particular, let's see if I'm logged in as, I'm not logged in as this agent. Let me go ahead and log out real quick. What was that username, Bill? Do you remember that, what the username was for that?
Yeah, hold on. I got it right here.
I think it was limited demo, if I remember. I'll try that. Or demo limited.
Limited demo.
Okay. So I'm going to log in as that agent. And looks like I got to set up my security questions because this user's never logged into the system. And let's just go ahead and just type in some basic information here. Okay, so I'm now in. So basically, the reason I wanted to log in as a field agent because I wanted to show you guys what happens on the field agent side if they're just a field agent. And instead of seeing my cases up here, this field agent sees my addresses because everything is assigned to them based on addresses, not based on cases, because addresses are attached to zones and cases are attached to, our addresses are attached to cases and zones are attached to companies and so on. But what we want to do is we want to go into the settings of this agent, and we want to go into mobile app settings, and we want to come in here, and I want to look up, let's just say borrower's home, and let's change the icon to something different. Where do I want to change it to? Let's just change it to this right here. And I'm even going to change the color to maybe blue. And let me also do a borrower's work. We'll leave the standard icon and we'll just make it a green one right here. So, all right, let me go ahead, and I don't think I have to save any settings, but you can see any type of address in the system, you can customize it. You can also make sub-icons and case type overrides and different things. But let's go ahead and pop back over to the mobile app right here, and I'm going to close this out right here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to refresh this data. Let me just zoom out a little bit because you see all of these little icons. Hit up here. I'm going to say refresh data. And now you can see, oh, looks like my color didn't update for some reason. It might take a couple minutes for it to get there, but you can see the icon change. So now if I look at this right here, I can see I've got a borrower's home. So if I click on this address right here and I click on to look at the details, the actual address should be borrower's home. And you can see it's an involuntary repossession. And so let's just say you wanted to, your guy's driving around, and as soon as he comes by this address right here, as soon as he gets within probably two houses, 3 houses of this address, as he's going by it, the system's going to automatically pop open this little box over on the left-hand side. Show him all of the details. He doesn't have to do anything. He just has to have this mobile app running. It's going to pop up. It's going to show him his information. The vehicle's either going to be there or not be there. If the vehicle is not there, it's going to automatically add an update, or actually, no matter what, it's going to automatically add an update to the account that says agent ran given address, and then list out that address within the update itself. So back here on that particular case, and this one's already repossessed. But if you had been on that particular case, you would have seen an update, an auto GPS update back on that account. Of course, I'm on a desktop. I don't have a GPS device on this desktop, so I can't. It's not going to automatically add the update right here. But that's how it works. So as soon as your guys are just driving around, they simply drive around and run past every single one of their addresses, and they don't really have to do much else. Everything's pre-populated. If they close automatically, they automatically come off their map. I'm going to pop back over here because I'm just kind of curious to see why the color didn't change, because it should have. Yeah, so it looks like the color should have changed right here. Let me go ahead and try to choose that again. Okay, well, it changed on this one right here. So I'm in a demo company, and a lot of the data, people get in there and play around with it. So it could just be somebody playing around with some data. But anyway, so you can see I created, this is a work address right here. If you look at that, come back in here, you can actually see, without even clicking on that, you can even see that it's a work address right here. So let's just say your driver went past this address, and the vehicle was spotted at that address. You can come in here, you can say details, you can click this little, but he can't get the vehicle for whatever reason, in a gate, in the garage, whatever it might be. You can click right here, unit spotted in garage, and now you can see that it just put a bullseye, overrode any of the icons that are on this type of account, and this one now has a bullseye. So somebody else that comes in, another one of your agents that happens to be using the system, they're actually going to see this on the system, and they're going to know, oh, well, you know, that one's been spotted there. They can look at the details of the case and actually see that that account is really there. Let me just pull up this account real quick here. Right here. Let's see. DEF 20078. Go to details here, and you can see under the address right here, you can see that spotted in the garage. It even says which person spotted it. Also, what you want to see here too is this one's connected to ClearPlan, so you can see the little ClearPlan icon. That means that this address is in sync with ClearPlan. Anybody have any questions on that? Do you see any questions there, Bill?
There's only been a few. I've been answering or typing the answers as we go.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Am I missing anything, Bill, on the mobile app stuff?
What about, did you go into uploading pictures? I know it's a little different on the Windows app than it is on the iOS and Android.
Yeah, so you can upload pictures and different things. So if you're on Android or iOS, those devices, you know, of course, have cameras built into them and things. But on a Windows laptop, it definitely is different. You know, of course, you have to get the pictures from the phone to the computer, and however you're going to do that, Dropbox or whatever is a good way to do that. But it is definitely easier to add pictures through that means. But you can still do it through here, and you can just click Add. It's going to pull up your browser. In this case, oh yeah, I'm not logged in under this one of my browsers. I'm logged in as the client side, so it threw I can't view that page. I'm logged in as an agent on this browser right here. So, but yeah, I mean that's how you do it, and it's just going to take you right to the browser and let you browse for those photos on your PC. So, but when you're on a mobile device, it works the same way on a iOS or Android, except it's using the camera on the device. So if you run around the car and take a bunch of pictures of the car first, and then go to the upload piece, it's in the same exact spot as this Windows one. Click here, and it'll use the device's photos instead of like a laptop right here. Is that good, Bill?
Yeah, and it is much easier on the mobile apps. And then, did you go over? I'm sorry, Jeff. I was logging in. I didn't notice it. Did you go over what the bullseye is?
Yeah. So I showed him how to mark the bullseye, and you know that the vehicle is spotted,
okay.
And that you know it overrides any of the other icons on there. So.
Okay, and then did you show the same thing with where you can set up for case types, like a voluntary assignment? You can override all the icons if it's a voluntary.
Yep. So if you come in back into the settings of the mobile app up here, and if you have, say, a particular type of case, maybe a voluntary or something that you want to have a different type of icon for that, you can come in and actually change the icon type right here and set it, and it'll override any of the other icons. The best example of that is voluntaries. A lot of guys like, I got these voluntaries all over, and it's kind of hard to see, you know, when I'm looking at the mobile app with, you know, all of the different icons, because once you start getting all of your addresses in there, it's going to look very, very busy until you start zooming in on them. Once you get at a pretty good zoom level, you're going to see that, you know, it's going to be a lot easier to look at it. And if I look at this, I mean, I can see right now, you know, I've got a work address, I've got a work address, I've got home, 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 home. You know, all of these different icons are telling you something. So it makes it pretty easy. And of course, you know, this is all free, so you guys are welcome to use our free mobile app. It's included in the account, so you can set up your drivers. And really, the only thing our free app doesn't do is real-time GPS tracking of your drivers, but it will automatically update any of the accounts that your agents go by. So I'll just leave that at that. Mobile app works pretty good. Oh, there's also some filters down here if you need to go in here and filter, from zones or different things. If you want to just, see different case types, or maybe you want to work everything for a particular client, you can come in here and see all your different clients and entities in there. So, okay, well, let me go ahead and look around my system real quick here, and I'm going to log back in as the other user. So give me 1 second here. And here I'm back on a caseworker, and now I'm back to my cases, and let me go ahead and pull that other account back up that we were in a minute ago. Here we are. You have your attachments. If you needed to add any photos to the account, just click on attachments. If you want to attach those photos to a particular recovery, you might repossess an account multiple times within our system, you can do so. Let's go ahead and select multiple cars in here. You can name the pictures if you want, or you don't have to name the pictures. And they should upload pretty quick, so now they're up there. It tells you which employee uploaded them. It even tells you that particular photo was from a repossession that occurred on that particular day. And the reason why that's important is because you might repossess this car multiple times. And with our system, if you get that case again, it's just going to reactivate the old case and not send you over a brand new case, so that you'll be able to look at your old history, you can look at your old updates, you can look at where'd you repossess it from the last time, even pictures, and as you repossess it multiple times. I mean, I've seen cases that have 100 accounts or 100 photos because they've repossessed it, 4 or 5 times. The client gives it back, you repossess it again, and so on. So as long as the client's the same, the debtor's the same, and the VIN number's the same, the system is going to reactivate that old case. Let me just look around real quick here. Let's go in here to settings, my company profile if you needed to add new addresses, case types. You should all have this already set up. If you're receiving assignments, these are the different types of cases you work. Zones and coverages, we went over that. If you want to upload your company logo like I did right here, you can do so. Set up notifications. Let's go into this area real quick. So this is pretty important right here. I waited to the end here to do this. I should have did it earlier, but these are all the notifications that you're set up to receive, and these are all the notifications that you could potentially add, to receive. So let's just click on this very first one, closed case by office, or we see one, let's see, client added new address to case. This is maybe a better example because I know that some lenders are adding not only new accounts, but they're also adding addresses to existing cases. So let's just click right there, and you'll see all of the employees right here, and it's turned on for email, it's turned on for website. You can turn it on for the mobile app, or you can turn it on for SMS, text messaging. So if this user has set up a mobile number in the system and has selected that it is a mobile number, he'll receive text messages that the client added it or whatever. This always on feature at the beginning, this is only if you always want to get notified of that. So you might come in here and say, well, this guy doesn't always need to get notified, and this person doesn't always need to get notified, unless it's something that that user did in the system, then it's going to automatically notify this person right here. But if you just want to turn it off completely for that user so they don't get any of those ones, you can do so by just simply clicking on it. Client, let's see, client reopened case, let's see, case put on hold by office, client set case to close. So this one right here, client set case to hold, client set case to hold. You want to make sure you get into your system and make sure these are set up. They should have been turned on automatically by default for whatever user got set up in the system, the first admin user. But if they're not turned on, you can turn it on for other users, and you can come in here and say, this is really important. I want to turn on SMS for this particular employee. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to go back in because I'm demo employee right here. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to go back into my settings. Let me see, notifications, and add a mobile number. You can go in there and select your carrier, whoever it is. I don't think you have to do this part anymore. Just select it anyways, but I think we're automatically reading any carrier now, so you can just punch in whatever your number is and save it, and it should work. And these are all the notifications that I have turned on for myself. So let me go back over here to settings again. Service purchases, if you've purchased any license plate data or if you fax out of the system, this right here, you'll see all of the plate purchases right here, and you can see it's only going to charge you for the successful purchases. If you click on that, it'll even show you the information that we received from the license plate purchase. Let's just go see if we see any different ones. Here's a good example right here of one in Florida. Actually returned the debtor's name and the address of the debtor. This one has two debtors. The expiration of the plate tells you it's Florida, and the transaction date they went into motor vehicle. So that's available to everybody on the system just by clicking here. You can type in any VIN number you want and retrieve motor vehicle information right there. Other than that, unless anybody has any questions here, I'll open it up here and I'll take a look. You can raise your hand and I'll select you in the list right here. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on Jamie here. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yes, we were just discussing how to go about marking something as a skip. It looks like Bill suggested create a case tag for that.
Yep, exactly. So you can create a case tag. That's the best way to do it. You would come in here, settings, and you would come here, case tags, create a brand new one. Now, the administrator of your account is the one that can create case tags. So we don't turn that on for everybody. You wouldn't want just anybody in there typing anything stupid. So just the administrators can do it. Type in skip, and then you can come back into your cases. Just select one of your cases, and you can just create this right here. Add a skip right here. There they are. And then you can even come back in like we did earlier, and you can create a custom report for that. So say you want to see your case status is open, but you also want to see case type or case tag is skip. You come back in here, you say run report, and there's that one that we just set up. And then you can come in here and say save as new report, skip. I'm going to add it to my dashboard. Pop back over here again, and there it is right there. And you can even configure the data that you want to see under that report. So there's a lot of settings in here. So when you come in here, you can come in here to columns displayed, and right now I only have those being displayed, but I can go in there and I can add other fields that I want, for my results, and close date or case created date, or whatever it might be. Almost everything, all the little pieces of data, does it have personals, or is there photos attached to it? There's all kinds of things. You can come in there and then say run report, and you can see all of those things that you put in there. If you go ahead and add photos to this account, this is a pretty good example. Is if you say you want a report that shows to make sure you're adding photos on all of your accounts, you come into my reports, you build that specific report that looks just for this field right here and for something that's marked repossessed. I'll actually go in here and show you that. I think there's a field that says has photos, yes, or actually has photos, none. And we want to say where status is repossessed, run report. And here's all of the counts. You know, there's 12 of them that don't have photos attached to them. And again, you can save this report back over to your dashboard so that every time you log in, you can make sure that, hey, you know, you've marked your repossessed now, but you haven't created a photo, you haven't added photos yet. Or you've marked it repossessed, but you haven't added maybe an invoice or a condition report or whatever it might be. You can do all of that. I mean, it's really, there's a lot you can do, you know, under My Reports. The other cool thing here is accounting. If you're using the system for billing, we've added a bunch of different accounting reports that even you guys as limited users can generate. So you can do quarterly reports. If you're creating invoices, you can actually see how much money you're making on the clients that you're billing out within our system. So pretty easy to use. And let me just go ahead and look back here. You have any other questions, Jamie?
No, we're good. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have? Yep. Anybody else have any questions there? You see any other questions typed up, Bill?
No other questions.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end it at that. Well, actually, before I end it here real quick, let me just one more thing. Search for anything. You can basically type in anything you want. So if you want to see all your Ford cars, this is a Ford vehicle. It has Ford someplace in there. You can type in the VIN, the address, Butterfly, you know, happens to be a street. El Cajon, you know, whatever you want to type in the system, it's going to go ahead and look for right through there, whatever you type in there, zip code, whatever. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end it at that. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call or email us at support@myrecoverysystem.com, and we can help you out. Appreciate everybody showing up. Thanks.